If you're over 35 and still think resistance bands are only for beginners, you may be slowing down your muscle growth without even realizing it. For decades, resistance bands have been misunderstood. Walk into almost any commercial gym, and you'll see them hanging quietly in a corner. Most people grab one for a quick warm-up, a shoulder stretch, or maybe a rehabilitation exercise after an injury. Then they move on to the real equipment, the barbells, the dumbbells, and the machines. But here's something that might surprise you. Many Olympic athletes, professional sprinters, combat sports competitors, physical therapists, and elite strength coaches don't see resistance bands as a backup plan. They see them as one of the smartest training tools ever created, especially for people over 35. Because after your mid-30s, the goal isn't simply adding more weight to the bar. Your body begins to change. Recovery slows down. Connective tissues become less forgiving. Small movement compensations that went unnoticed in your 20s gradually become shoulder pain, lower back stiffness, aching knees, or chronic elbow problems. Ironically, this is exactly when many people try to train even harder. They chase heavier weights, more plates, more intensity, yet the body isn't asking for more weight. It's asking for better tension. And that's where resistance bands completely change the conversation. One of the biggest misconceptions in fitness is believing that muscles only grow because the weight is heavy. That's not what the research actually shows. Muscles respond primarily to mechanical tension, the amount of force they must produce throughout a movement, especially when they're working close to failure. The source of that resistance matters far less than most people think. What matters is whether the muscle is challenged through a complete range of motion. This is where resistance bands have a mechanical advantage that traditional free weights simply cannot replicate. Think about a dumbbell curl. As the weight moves upward, the exercise becomes hardest around the middle of the lift. But once you approach full contraction, gravity actually works in your favor. The resistance drops. Ironically, your biceps are producing less force at the exact moment they're fully shortened. Resistance bands behave completely differently. The farther you stretch the band, the more resistance it creates. Instead of becoming easier, the movement becomes progressively harder. That means your muscles stay under meaningful tension throughout the entire repetition. This principle is called variable resistance, and it's one of the biggest reasons bands continue to earn respect among evidence-based coaches. Multiple studies have shown that when training volume and effort are matched, resistance band training can produce muscle growth and strength gains comparable to traditional weight training. But here's the part that often gets overlooked. Bands don't just challenge the prime movers. Because tension is constantly pulling from different directions, your stabilizing muscles are forced to work harder as well. Those smaller muscles surrounding the shoulders, hips, knees, and spine are often the difference between training pain-free for decades or constantly fighting injuries. That's why, from this channel's perspective, resistance bands aren't replacing free weights. They're solving problems that free weights often leave behind. If your goal is to build muscle at 22, you might get away with almost anything. If your goal is to stay muscular, athletic, and pain-free at 45, 55, or even 65, training smarter becomes more important than training heavier. And the first exercise perfectly demonstrates why. At first glance, it looks incredibly simple. In reality, it's one of the most misunderstood arm exercises in fitness, the resistance band biceps curl. In the next section, we'll break down exactly why this movement creates a completely different growth stimulus than a traditional dumbbell curl, and why almost everyone performs it incorrectly. End of part 1. Continue to part 2. If I had to choose just one resistance band exercise for men over 35, it wouldn't be curls. It wouldn't even be push-ups. It would be the resistance band Romanian deadlift. That might sound surprising. After all, most people associate muscle growth with chest day, arm day, or heavy squats. But the muscles that often determine how athletic and how pain-free you feel as you age are the ones you can't even see in the mirror. Your glutes, your hamstrings, your spinal stabilizers. Together, they're known as the posterior chain, and they quietly power almost every movement you perform, from climbing stairs to sprinting, lifting groceries, or simply standing with good posture. Unfortunately, they're also some of the most neglected muscles in modern training. Here's where the science gets interesting. For years, bodybuilders believed that muscle growth depended mainly on lifting heavier weights. Today, evidence paints a more complete picture. Research consistently shows that muscles respond exceptionally well when they're exposed to high mechanical tension while in a lengthened position. In simple terms, muscles grow especially well when they're producing force while being stretched. That's exactly what the resistance band Romanian deadlift does. As you hinge at the hips and lower your torso, the band stretches farther and farther. Unlike a barbell, whose resistance follows gravity, the band's tension continues to increase throughout the movement. Your hamstrings are challenged precisely when they're at their longest, right where current research suggests hypertrophy is highly effective. From this channel's perspective, that's what makes this exercise so valuable for long-term health. It's not just about building bigger muscles, it's about building stronger movement patterns. A stronger posterior chain means less stress on your knees, better hip function, improved posture, greater balance, and a lower risk of lower back injuries as the years go by. But here's the mistake almost everyone makes. Instead of hinging from the hips, they round their lower back and turn the movement into a forward bend. The goal isn't touching the floor. The goal is sending your hips backward while maintaining a neutral spine. If you feel the exercise mostly in your lower back, you're doing it wrong. If you feel a deep stretch in your hamstrings while staying stable through your core, you're on the right track. The second exercise changes the way most people think about squats. Because the resistance band goblet squat isn't simply a lighter version of a barbell squat. In many ways, it's actually a smarter one. As you rise out of the bottom position, the band stretches more. Resistance increases exactly where your legs are capable of producing more force. Instead of losing tension near the top, your quads and glutes must continue working until the movement is fully complete. Now add one small detail. Place a light mini band just above your knees. Suddenly, your glute medius, the muscle responsible for keeping your knees aligned, works continuously throughout every repetition. This matters far more than most people realize. One of the most common movement faults after age 35 is knee valgus, where the knees collapse inward during squats, lunges, or even walking downstairs. It's rarely caused by weak knees. More often, it's the result of weak hip stabilizers. And if those stabilizers never get stronger, adding more weight simply magnifies the problem. That's why this channel has always believed that movement quality should come before load. A perfectly controlled squat with moderate resistance will almost always outperform a heavy squat performed with poor mechanics over the long run, because your joints remember every repetition, even if your ego doesn't. Now let's talk about pushing strength. Most people believe the push-up becomes easier as you get stronger. And mechanically, they're right. At the top of a standard push-up, your chest muscles lose much of their challenge because leverage improves dramatically. Your body naturally enters a stronger position. That's exactly why resistance bands change everything. Wrap the band across your upper back and hold each end beneath your palms. As you press upward, the band stretches. Resistance increases continuously. Instead of relaxing near lockout, your chest, shoulders, and triceps must keep producing force all the way to full extension. Research comparing banded push-ups with heavy bench pressing has even shown remarkably similar levels of muscle activation in the chest and triceps under the right loading conditions. That's impressive. But what impresses me even more is something the numbers don't always show. For many men over 35, banded push-ups simply feel better. Less unnecessary stress, more natural movement, better shoulder comfort, without sacrificing muscular effort. That doesn't mean they're easier. In fact, if you slow down the lowering phase to 3 or 4 seconds and drive explosively back up, you'll discover just how demanding they really are. The biggest mistake? Choosing a band that's too heavy. The moment your hips begin to sag, your lower back arches excessively, or you shorten your range of motion just to finish another rep, you've stopped training your muscles and started negotiating with your technique. Always remember, your muscles don't know how expensive your equipment is. They don't know whether you're lifting a barbell, a machine, or a resistance band. They only understand one language: consistent tension. And in the next section, we'll cover the most underrated resistance band exercise of them all, one that may determine whether your shoulders stay strong, balanced, and pain-free for the next 20 years. We'll also build a complete weekly program that puts all 6 exercises together into one simple, science-based routine. Here's an interesting pattern you'll notice in almost every gym. People love training the muscles they can see: chest, front delts, biceps, abs. But the muscles that determine how long you can keep training without pain are usually the ones hiding on the back of your body. And that's exactly why the final exercise may be the most valuable one in this entire workout: the resistance band pull-apart. At first glance, it almost looks too simple to matter. Hold the band at shoulder height, keep your arms straight, pull it apart until your body forms a T. That's it, or at least that's what it looks like. What's actually happening is far more important. As the band stretches, resistance continues to increase. Your rear deltoids, rhomboids, middle trapezius, lower trapezius, and the muscles responsible for stabilizing your shoulder blades are forced to contract harder and harder toward the end of the movement. And that's exactly where these muscles are naturally strongest. Unlike many traditional pulling exercises, the resistance curve of the band closely matches the strength curve of your upper back. The result? More meaningful tension where it matters most. From this channel's perspective, this exercise isn't about building bigger shoulders. It's about protecting the shoulders you already have. Think about the average training week: bench presses, shoulder presses, push-ups, chest machines, dips, all pushing. Now ask yourself, how much time do you spend strengthening the muscles that pull your shoulders back into healthy alignment? For many people, the answer is almost none. Over months and years, this imbalance gradually pulls the shoulders forward, limits mobility, reduces posture, and increases the risk of rotator cuff problems. That's why I often think of pull-aparts as preventive maintenance. Just like changing the oil in your car before the engine fails, strengthening your upper back before pain appears is always easier than trying to fix an injury later. Sometimes the smartest exercise isn't the one that builds the biggest muscles. It's the one that allows you to keep building muscle for the next 20 years. Putting everything together. Now let's combine all 6 exercises into a simple program that almost anyone can follow. You don't need complicated periodization, you don't need dozens of different exercises, and you certainly don't need to spend 2 hours in the gym. Train 2 to 3 full-body sessions each week, leaving at least 1 recovery day between workouts. A complete session could look like this: resistance band Romanian deadlift, 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Resistance band goblet squat, 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. Resistance band push-up, 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Resistance band biceps curl, 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Resistance band face pull, 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. Resistance band pull apart, 3 sets of 15 to 25 reps. Simple, balanced, effective. More importantly, sustainable, because consistency will always outperform perfection. The principle most people ignore. Now let's talk about the one concept that determines whether you'll keep growing or stay exactly where you are: progressive overload. Most people think progressive overload simply means buying a thicker resistance band. That's only one option. You can also increase your repetitions, add another set, slow down the lowering phase, pause longer at peak contraction, reduce rest periods, improve your technique, increase your range of motion. Every one of these strategies forces your muscles to adapt, and adaptation is what muscle growth is all about. One mistake I see constantly is people rushing through every repetition. Fast reps may make you feel productive, but muscles don't count repetitions. They respond to tension. The slower and more controlled you move, especially during the eccentric lowering phase, the longer your muscles stay under load. That's often where the real growth stimulus happens. Especially after the age of 35, recovery becomes just as important as intensity. Training harder isn't always the answer. Training smarter usually is. Final thoughts. If there's one message I hope you take away from this video, it's this: resistance bands are not a cheaper replacement for weights. They're not just for beginners, and they're definitely not only for rehabilitation. They're simply another tool, a tool supported by biomechanics, a tool supported by research. And perhaps most importantly, a tool that allows many people to build muscle while placing less unnecessary stress on their joints. Here on this channel, we believe fitness isn't about impressing people for one summer. It's about building a body that's still strong at 50, capable at 60, and independent at 70. Because the strongest person in the room isn't always the one lifting the heaviest weight. It's often the one who can still train consistently decades later. So if you learned something new today, hit that like button because it really helps this video reach more people who need evidence-based fitness information. Share this video with someone who still believes resistance bands are only for beginners. You might completely change the way they train. And if you enjoy science-backed workouts, practical training advice, and long-term strategies for building strength without destroying your joints, subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, we'll break down the latest research, separate fitness myths from facts, and help you build a stronger, healthier body that lasts a lifetime. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.